Hello everybody, in this video I have some Christmas card making to share with you. I'm just making a couple of really simple cards and I thought I would share the ideas with you. If you're like me and haven't started making your Christmas cards yet, maybe not feeling massively inspired this year or whatever, then yeah, just a couple of ideas for easy to make cards. Now I just showed you at the beginning there a couple I had actually made the day before, I think, which I really liked, but I thought I could just make them a little bit better. So I'm using the first edition North Star paper pad for all the cards in this video. All of them are going to have a sort of modernish Christmas vibe, you know, like the more bluey silver kind of thing rather than the old red and green traditional. So what I'm using for these first cards is this snowflake, kind of falling snowflake stamps I bought recently. I'm just showing you the packaging there. It's by Chloe's Creative Cards. I got it from Cardstash and it's really, really pretty, and it's the size of a slimline card, which are all the rage this year, so I'm told. So I have cut some pieces of that lovely sort of shimmery, I think it's got an iridescent pearlescent finish to it, and it's that lovely, so it's got like a dark blue and then a darker blue to it, kind of like almost like a galaxy finish, and I thought it would look really nice with the falling snow stamp on top of it. And I'm going to use an embossing powder which is called Tinsel Snowflake, so it's basically a silvery, glittery, creamy white. It's by Paper Mania, but I don't know if you can get it anymore because Paper Mania doesn't really exist anymore. They got bought out and nothing has really happened since they got bought. So as I said, I don't know if you can get that particular colour. I will link it if I can find it, but you can obviously get very similar ones from other brands. So yes, using my stamping platform to do that. I just find it easier to use the stamping platform with a really big stamp like that. Yeah, I just find it easier basically. And then yeah, I'm going to emboss that one again like I did with the previous one. I'm not going to double emboss it or anything like that. I think just one layer is fine because I want little pretty little snowflakes. You kind of want them to be a bit delicate, don't you? So it didn't stamp perfectly. You can see on that first piece there, I think where I had the little magnet thingy to keep the paper in place, it kind of prevented it from being stamped very well, but I don't really mind. It doesn't really matter too much. You know, it's falling snow. It doesn't have to be completely even or anything, but I do think that looks so pretty embossed like that. It's just, oh, how pretty is that? So to make it a little bit more interesting, obviously I'm going to mat each of those. I just chose a random paper from the North Star paper pad. I found this one. It's like a very light turquoisey blue, which I thought would look nice on that, but then I cut it the wrong size, like I cut it the wrong way, so I couldn't make two of the same piece, if you know what I mean. So I was like, oh, I can't be bothered to get another one out of the paper pad. So I had this silver glitter card left over from the other cards I made, so I thought I would mat the other piece with that. And I'm just gutting the center of that because when it comes to glitter card, it can be useful for so many things. I thought, you know, I always gut it just because you can use it for die cutting or for sentiments or anything like that. I always use some kind of liquid adhesive when it comes to sticking down on glitter card or glitter paper or anything. Personally, I haven't found a double-sided tape that really works, so I find liquid adhesive better for that. Didn't gut the matting of this piece just because I couldn't be bothered. It's not like special enough to keep like glitter card is, but I like the fact that I've got two different styles going on. Like one's got the really glittery matting, but that's the one that hasn't got the perfect stamping, and the one with the slightly more lighter subtle matte has the really nice stamping on. So I wanted to obviously add a sentiment of Merry Christmas. Those wooden sentiments are by Simply Creative. And then I needed a base for those. Now on the previous cards that I showed you right at the beginning, I had based those, like I had a thin strip of glitter card, and then I used a scrap left over of the navy shimmery card and just put them on there, and it's nice, but I thought I could do better, so I pulled out some plain vellum. I've cut one at 1.5 inch and one at about 1 inch, I think, just to make them a little bit different. And then before I do anything with those, I am going to emboss those wooden sentiments. I'm going to triple emboss them just to make them, you know, really shimmery and metallic and pretty and silver and stuff. That embossing powder is also Paper Mania. It is the Silver Super Fine, I think. Again, possibly hard to get hold of now, but you can find all sorts of embossing powders out there. Now when some people double or triple emboss, they will just like melt with their heat tool that first layer of embossing powder and then just dunk it straight back in to the embossing powder because it's still wet and melted enough for that. But I find I'm just not quick enough to do that, so I just dunk it back down on the ink pad and do it that way. So I took those vellum strips off just to the side and embossed them with sort of a damask-y embossing folder. I don't really have any Christmassy ones, but I thought the damask would look nice enough. Like, it just needed to have some sort of pattern or something on it. Then I'm just going to wrap those around my little card base here, and then yeah, just stick down the Merry Christmas wooden sentiments. To stick those down, I'm going to use a slow drying tacky glue, which I always use for wooden sentiments, and they're a little bit stubborn about sticking down on that vellum, so I just plopped a heavy mug on each one of them and left them to dry for just, you know, half an hour or so, something like that. Off screen or off camera, I did just cut some card blanks for those with some heavy 300 GSM cardstock, and then I thought that was going to be it, but then I decided actually the cards would look super pretty. There's those two original ones there that I was talking about before. If they would look super pretty if I put a little gem or something at the center of each of the bigger snowflakes. So on these smaller cards, I'm going to add an actual little gem. These are Simply Creative ones. I have had them for a very, very long time. I don't know if they still do them. They probably do because it's quite a basic thing, isn't it? So yes, just sticking those down, putting a little tiny dab of tacky glue in the center and then sticking the gems down. And then on the slightly larger cards, I am going to do Nuvo Drops instead. I'm using Nuvo Drops in White Blizzard, I think, which is a white ever so slightly transparent glitter. And the reason I put those bulldog clips on is because if you've got your Nuvo Drops drying, if the card starts to slightly open, then they're going to dry at an angle and start to slip down. So I use a bulldog clip to keep it flat so that the Nuvo Drops are going to dry flat, as it were. So yes, those are the first cards. For the second cards, I'm going to play around with these AB Studio vellums and acetates, which are foilable. I bought these very recently. You may have seen me share them when I shared the stuff that I bought. I bought loads of these acetates and vellum, just foilable things. I just love them so much. And I have some AB Studio silver foil to play with those with. So I just very crudely cut out a few of these baubles to foil. I use a little travel iron to foil them with. You can also use a laminator. Obviously, I should say if you're using a travel iron, be super careful because it does get very, 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 very hot, and because I do it on my glass mat because I'm far too lazy to go and get an ironing board. I mean, goodness me, the glass mat gets very, very hot as well, so you have to be careful not to touch it for just a little while. The way I do the foiling is I kind of, after I've had a couple of goes over with the iron, I'll just peel it back ever so slightly just to check to see if it's foiled, and if it hasn't, I'll put it back down again and do a little bit more with the iron. You do have to sort of hold down the iron in place for a little while, not just, you know, move it around like you would with clothing. You have to sort of press it a little bit. And I also, because the vellum in particular has a tendency to curl after it's been heat foiled, which is just natural, that's what vellum does, I tried to iron the other side of them to see if that would counteract it. I think it made it better, but it didn't completely counteract it. But yeah, I think it helped maybe a little bit. So I'm going to use this paper from North Star, which is one of my favourites. Gorgeous navy blue, starry background, and the largest stars are silver glittered. It is so pretty. These are, I don't really know what to call this size of card. It's not slimline. It's not, I don't know, they're about 4 by 7, 7.5, something like that. So wide slimline, maybe? That's not a thing. But yes, I properly cut the baubles that I had foiled, and to stick them down I'm going to use red line tape, really, really slim red line tape, and just stick it down like at the string bit of the bauble and then either side to stop it from curling. But it's red line tape, so it's super strong, and you can't really see it through the vellum or acetate unless you're really, really looking for it. Like if you were actively looking to see how they were stuck down, you would be able to see it, but they're not obvious and ugly adhesive or anything like that. So with those stuck down, I was like, we need a lot more to these cards. They're looking a bit basic at the moment. So I took some silver ink and just going to go around each blank or card blank, card base, or whatever, with that. Then I cut some of this black glitter card. I thought that would look quite nice with that dark navy and then bright silver on the baubles. The silver on the baubles really doesn't show up very well on camera at all. It is so pretty and bright, but I think my studio lights kind of counteract that a little bit and they look a little bit dull on camera. But just believe me, they look really, really pretty in real life. These sentiment toppers, I've had those for a very, very long time. They're from Simply Creative. They have little foam dots on the background, but I like to add extra foam adhesive either side just so it sticks down evenly. And I also add a little bit of liquid adhesive to that, some tacky glue, just because I don't trust foam squares or foam dots or whatever to stay in place and behave themselves. While I remember, I was sent a couple of these things, mostly the North Star paper pad from Craft Label to share their new shop and everything. You may have seen the video a few weeks ago. They have not asked me to make this video or anything. I am just doing it because I have the stuff, so I want to make stuff with it. But I do have a discount code for Craft Label for UK people to use. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. I don't get anything for you using it. It's just a code for you to use. It's 15% if you want to. It's available to the first 100 people who use it, and works until the end of December 31st, I think. So that will be in the description box. But this isn't an ad or anything like that. As I said, no affiliate. It's just I wanted to play with these paper pads and stuff, so I did, and I just so happened to have that code. What was I doing next? Oh, I just felt like they needed a little bit something else. These cards, they felt a bit meh to me, so of course I'm going with my trusty Nuvo Drops, just using silver and then some of those white blizzard ones just to do little flourishes of dots in each corner, or 3 of the corners actually, and that was it for those cards. Now these ones are kind of super simple, minimalistic, using up some scraps cards. I'm going straight down onto a white A6 card blank. I don't usually do things straight onto a card blank, and I'm just taking these little scraps left over from the other cards that I've made, chopping them into little squares and rectangles and stuff, and stacking them up like this to make a little pile of presents, or what looks like a little pile of presents. I also found this lovely silver and white ribbon in my Christmas stash, and I thought I would use that to make some little bows to go on top of the stack of the presents. If you don't know how to do this, it's really, really simple. You just take about 5 to 6 inches of ribbon, make like a little loop, like a, you know, like those charity ribbons, that sort of shape, push it in on itself, thread through the middle a couple of times, and then you just wrap the thread around the whole thing, pulling it tight as you go. Not so tight that you break your thread, but tight enough. You'll be able to feel when it's tight enough because you can let go of the thread and the bow stays in place, but I do like to add just a couple of little stitches in the back to make sure it's going to stay that way. If I went too fast for you then, I did have a video where I explained to do this a little bit better and slower, but I can't remember. It was a long, long time ago, but you can obviously just search for like how to make little bows or something like that. I'm sure there's someone out there who explains it far better than I do. For the little stack of presents, I thought to make them look a little bit more like presents, I would take a silver gel pen. I did want to take a silver metallic marker, but when I got it out, it was completely dry. So I had to go for the gel pen and kind of make it look like little ribbons or something were on each one. I was going to use these Happy Christmas sentiments, glittered sentiments, which was something else that Craft Label sent me, but I just felt they were too big once I'd done that stack of presents like that. To stick down those boxes, I start from the top to the bottom so they overlap in the right way. Put the bow on with a large glue dot that I fold over so it's nice and sturdy, but you can't see the glue dot underneath. But yes, I needed another sentiment alternative because those glitter ones were just too big. So I pulled out, that pack was from Poundland a couple of years ago. Year before last it was, but they did bring them back last year, so they may have brought them back this year as well. I don't know. I've barely left the house in weeks for obvious reasons, so I don't know if they still have them. But I thought that label, even though it's still quite big, because it was a label, it looked cute, like it was supposed to be on the stack of presents. So I'm just doing another one quickly now, pretty much doing the same thing. The only thing I didn't do was I didn't do like the silver gel pen on each one of those little quote-unquote presents, just to see what it would look like, to show you like what each one looks like, see what you prefer, kind of thing. But yes, what was I saying? Labels, Poundland. Yeah, I thought it looked cute, but that was my last one from that pack. So I brought out this silver one, silver glitter one from my stash. Found a little blue sentiment to put on it. I did cut it a little bit shorter because it was a little bit on the long side. And also when I'm sticking these labels down, I put a little foam square at the bottom and then just double-sided tape at the top, so they're kind of 3D, they stick out a little bit, just adds another little dimension and element. But then, because it's me, some people would leave them like that and that would be fine, but I can't, I'm not a minimalist whatsoever. I can't stop myself, so I needed to put more things on there. So those super cute little pearl stars, again, those are Simply Creative. I put them on the center of each one of the little gifts on one card and then just dotted them around the other one. And then again, I still can't leave well alone, so I'm going to finish off with some more Nuvo Drops using the silver, and then this is the navy something. It's one of the metallic ones that dyes. That doesn't dye, it dries a really lovely dark navy. And then to match on the other one with the scattered stars, I'm going to scatter the Nuvo Drops on this one as well. Again, at pretty much any stage after you've done your stack of presents and the bow, you can stop whenever you want, but I'm not very good at stopping. I'm not very good at minimalism, as I said, but there's those ones finish. So, there we go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it gave you some ideas. Obviously, you don't have to have these products to do these cards. It's just to give you a vague idea. You could do them traditional style, modern style, pink style. Shut up, Siren. I'm trying to finish my video. Links will be in the description box, as well as that discount code I told you about. Will you please shut up, Siren? How rude. Anyways, I'm going to go. Thank you again so much for watching. Let me know in the comments which card is your favourite. Let me know what you're doing this year. How far through your cards have you got? Have you made more than me? Because those ones I've just shown you, those are the only ones I've made so far. But I will be hopefully back in a week or two with some more ideas. Okay, right, yes, shutting up now. Thumbs up, all that stuff. Going again. Thank you. Bye-bye.